Welcome back to our Finals Women World Cup report from Taiwan with Stasa Gejo, first time World Cup finalist Johanna Färber from Austria, first time World Cup finalist Kyra Condie from USA, common faces Fanny Gibert, Miho Nonaka and all-time favorite Akiyo Noguchi. And the girls as well have these awkward intro videos, banana, apple, awkward, stare into the camera. And awkward is a word which we can use for boulder number one, or how a couple of girls felt at boulder number one. Because you had this mental situation where you had to mantle up and then with the green volume get your foot a little bit higher next to your left hand. Stasa, as hasty as always, not really patient. She tried to jump for the last hold, and that's something where she can really learn and benefit watching the Japanese girls and more experienced climbers be a little bit more calm. On the other hand, first time finalist Johanna Färber from Austria, really young girl, she climbed the first boulder after a couple of tries, really confident, really slow. We can see the mantle here, hip over to the right was really important, so that you could turn your hands, then the green volume, and then don't pull on the green volume to jump for the last hold. Just find a position where you can get your left foot or your knee next to your hand. A little bit of flexibility in your hip was needed, but once you had your left foot higher, it was easy to match the top hold. First top for Johanna Färber, well earned, and she was in a good mood, what we can see here clearly. Kyra Condie, on the other hand, was a little bit too impatient. Maybe she wasn't really used to holding on only to these volumes, and she fell off on the last move in the last few seconds. To get the volumes for the mantle, you could jump like Fanny did here. The problem is she didn't minimize the momentum once she reached the volume. Take a look at Miho here. She jumps as well, but as soon as she has the red volume, she pulls higher to catch the momentum, minimize the momentum, and then she goes into the mantle. Okay, let's compare Miho and Fanny. We can see Miho on the left side bending her arms, pulling to minimize the momentum of the jump and to be able to hold on to the volume. Fanny, on the other hand, is a little bit too far away from the wall, not able to pull and thus not able to minimize the momentum, and so she falls off. Even though the boulder didn't look really hard, it was still tricky and complex, so Akiyo and Miho were the only finalists to flash the boulder. As mentioned before, it started with this traverse. Always put your heels down, push your heels down to apply as most pressure as possible. Stay close to the wall for this jump, pull to minimize the momentum. Then for the mantle, push your hip over to the right, so you can switch your hands into a palm push, grab the other mantle, stay underneath it. Akiyo, really flexible, I guess the most flexible woman climber, maybe in climbing history, and easy to get to the top. So 4 out of 6 climbers climbed this problem, different amount of tries before we go into problem number 2. Let's take a look at boulder number 2, the tricky dynamic toe hook move. So you started over cross, get the toe hook in and reach to the left. Stasa is really tall, so she could keep the toe hook in, but it's not over after this. You had to catch the swing somehow, and then there were 2 options to climb the end section. You could do it like Stasa here, putting a heel hook on and rocking over, sitting on the heel hook, getting from the zone hold to this triangle volume and then just launching higher. With the heel in, your hip is really close to the wall. We can see it right here, which just makes it easier to move with your hip close to the wall in steep terrain. So first up for Stasa, and let's take a look at Johanna. First she tried it without the heel hook on the left, standing on the right in the big red hold, and moved with her left hand first to the volume, which did not work. Then she tried it with the heel hook. She had both hands on the penultimate hold, but she had her right hand in the wrong position. You need to grab the volume with the right hand from the right side. Let's take a look at Miho, who also tried it without the heel hook on the left, but she found a knee bar for her right knee, and as mentioned before, she uses the penultimate hold with her right hand from the right side. And then she found the heel hook, and then she moved from the heel hook and with her hand in the right position to the last hold. So flash again for Miho Nonaka, putting the pressure on Akiyo Noguchi, the master in finding secure and stable positions where you don't need to do risky moves. Heel hook into a toe hook, never seen before on this move. Makes it easy to catch the swing with his red holds. Goes higher, a lot of tension on her right foot. Once she matches the hold, she goes higher with her right hand, still the tension on the right foothold. Then she swings her left foot out as a pendulum to minimize the swing once she cuts loose. Really intelligent. And then after another heel hook on the right side to move further to the right, she puts not the heel but the top of her shoe to apply more pressure and feeling to do the last move. No surprises for the ranking. Akiyo and Miho, 2 tops and 2 tries, are in lead. Stasa, Johanna and Fanny, each with 1 top. Kyra, not a top yet. And we are moving to the next boulder, Boulder 3, a side jump with a spicy finish. Complex and tricky, and it looked pretty hard. Stasha, the tallest girl of the finalists, she was able to solve the first move static, spanning with her right arm to the right, still dropping over to the right in a dynamic sidestep move, stopping the momentum with a big foothold, and then the spicy finish awaited her. There's a blue screw on, it looked like one of the mini volcanoes, and she chose to mantle onto the right zone hold, get it with her left hand and try to wrestle her left foot higher. It looked really hard, and she looked like being in a stuck position. She wasn't able to move her left foot really high. She crimped really hard on her left hand, but because all her weight was sitting on her right leg, it's really hard to get the left leg higher. We can see how she's fighting to push herself to the right and to create space to lift her left leg higher onto the handhold foothold, but this was not possible, so she moved down again with her left hand into her palm and crossed over with her right hand and tried to get her left foot higher, but she was really stuck in an uncomfortable position, so she slipped on that. She tried one more time standing up on her right heel, which looked really promising, but then the left foothold did not hit the foothold properly and she ran out of time. No one else was able to do the first move static, so let's have a look at Johanna Färber, who spent a lot of tries to jump it quick and fast. You had to be able to stay really close to the wall and still pull really hard on the first pink triangle to do the last step to the right side. She tried a lot of things as well to get to the top hold, but couldn't find a solution to solve the last hard move. Kyra Condie couldn't find any solution to solve the first move at all. She didn't really commit, or maybe she was really unused to moves like this. Fanny Gibert, on the other hand, here in her second try, she moved really quickly and she pulled really hard on the second volume. And it's her second try, and she made it look really easy to top the boulder. Stepping high on the zone hold, using it as a side pull, she was able to move her left foot higher, use this blue tiny nothing to change her hip, create space, and move with both hands dynamic to the last hold. Fanny was jumping to the last hold, and I couldn't wait for Miho and Akiyo, who both are a little bit smaller than Fanny, to try the last move. Miho dropped the first move, then she dropped the second move as well, because she tried to cross with her right hand, then she surprisingly found a stable position, sitting on the volumes, and then moving with her left hand higher, and then a magic Miho Nonaka move. She knew she was too small, so she launched with her left hand and killed the momentum with a toe hook on the right zone hold. Akiyo, who's always looking for a safe and secure position, needed one try, which she dropped, but then in her second try she managed to do the sideward step jump, cleaned the volume, and was really confident, really flexible, and Again, she looked for all the options which were possible. She used a heel hook to move higher, and usually you are stuck, but Akiyo is so impressive strong and flexible, like here, looking for the safest option, just pulling harder to the last hold. So Akiyo is still in lead with 3 tops and 4 tries, followed by Miho, 3 tops and 7 tries. And without Janja Garnbraid in the finals, it always looks like you are allowed to climb with Akiyo and Miho, but not really fighting against them. They are climbing in another league, on another level, and that's what we can see at Boulder 4 as well. Boulder 4, tricky, powerful, hard to read, hard to find a good body position. First you had to traverse to the left, not that hard, but once you were in this green dish or bowl, I think they are all made from Gecko King, Chinese quality, Chinese old company, you had to find the position for your right toe hook. Once you had the right foot underneath the volume as a toe hook, you had to make sure that once you try to launch for the next move, that your body stays really close to the wall, because your hip turns away from the wall and pulls you down. Kyra Condie here was able to hold on to it in her second try. We can see it here. I think it's her third or fourth try, but second try, which I'll show. But she couldn't find a solution to climb from the zone hold to the next hold, so she jumped desperately and couldn't hold the momentum. Then she ran out of time, but really good effort of Kyra Condie in her first Boulder World Cup final ever. Really burly and complex, we can see it here at the same time. Good setting. Fanny Gibert, she put the toe hook a little bit further to the right, so your hip stays closer to the wall. She was looking for another placement for her right foot, but couldn't find it, so she jumped from this position as well to the next hold. Still looking, didn't find anything to solve the puzzle, jumping onto the sloper, slipping away. In her next try, she cut loose on both 2 green volumes, so she was able to get her right foot higher. So she was almost able to go to the next hold and slipped away. With only 20 seconds to go, she was able to stick the move and find a body position to match the sloper with her hip really deep underneath it. She was running out of time, but she didn't care. She didn't listen to the signal because she really wanted to top the boulder. That's what she did. It didn't count. It wasn't a valid send for her, but at least she was the first climber to top boulder number 4. Miho needed a couple of tries to get to the green zone hold, then she moved with her left hand, which makes it able and creates the possibility to cling on to the lower volume with your feet and push and press against it, so your hip stays underneath the wall, goes to the sloper, pushes her left foot onto the green zone hold, so her hip is again underneath below the sloper, and she's able to hold this really slopey bad sloper. Easy finish to the top, and she sent it after a couple of tries with 30 seconds left. So Akiyo was leading comfortable. She could waste, if she wanted to, I think 5 or 6 tries on this problem, but I will spoiler you, she did not. Really confident on those holds, she jumped to the left. She's always able to control all the swing and the momentum. Always looking for the next solution. Thank you for zooming out here. She seemed to struggle a little bit, but on the other hand, she was always fully and totally in control of what she's doing. Every move seemed to be really thought out and controlled, except for the next one, where Fanny and Miho were able to keep the tension and to cling on to the yellow volume. Akiyo was standing too low, so while she was jumping, her feet cut loose, her left foot was swinging against the wall, so to kill the momentum and the swing, and after this she used all her flexibility to get her right foot over to the right onto the pink volume, and with her incredible flexibility she was able to keep her hip underneath the sloper in a stable position, move to the last hold, flash boulder number 4 as the only finalist, climbing all 4 boulder problems in 5 tries, and winning again after last weekend in China. As mentioned before, Akiyo is just in an incredible good shape. She is the most experienced climber in the whole World Cup circuit. Let's take a look at the numbers. She's climbing senior competitions since 2005, and since 2008 her worst result in a World Cup season was a third place. All the other seasons she either won or was in second place. In this time she experienced all the changes with the styles, which means more volume climbing, more parkour climbing, more dynamic, more risky, more complexity. But this didn't matter for Akiyo Noguchi. She's learning so quick and so fast, and also she's really flexible, developed an incredible feeling for stable positions and for her body, and is really experienced, really confident, knows what she has to do. She experienced all the situations which you can experience at World Cup climbing, with all the pressure of the finalists, coming out last but still being able to deliver your best potential, your best climbing, and that's one of the reasons why Akiyo Noguchi looks unbeatable this season. So let's wait until Yanya is coming back and let's have a look whether Miho can develop and improve her confidence and her mind game until the next competition in Japan. Japan is usually really hard for all Japanese athletes because they are under a lot of pressure. We could see this 2 years ago when all the Japanese finalists were interviewed by the television, where they seemed really nervous, and I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks in Tokyo. See you again after Tokyo. I hope you have a good time. Bye bye.